Hi there. Welcome back to Deb's Big Backyard. I'm Deb, and I'm giving my butterfly bush one final haircut before I put it to bed along with the rest of my garden. You know, I love butterflies, and recently I heard Stephanie Walquist of the local chapter of the Wild Ones talk about how to create a butterfly garden in your own backyard. She also talked about how to clean it up so you can ensure you have more butterflies there in the spring. She invited me over today because she's in the midst of doing it herself and thought that she could probably give me a few tips. I want to bring you along. Grab your stuff, let's go. Hi Stephanie, it's Deb.
Hi Deb, how you doing?
Great, I so enjoyed your Wild Ones presentation in August.
Thank you.
Yeah, on the butterfly gardening and how to clean up your garden, and I'm here for a few tips.
Okay, great. So I've been butterfly gardening for 10 years, and I'm also a butterfly monitor volunteer with the Illinois Butterfly Monitoring Network.
Yeah.
So I've been studying butterflies for 10 years, raising different ones or different species, learning about their life cycles through the seasons. They're not just around during the summer. Many of them right now will be here. They'll be overwintering as caterpillars or chrysalids. And some of them might even be in eggs. So I try to take it easy in the fall, clean up. There's certain things you can do to still have it look nice, but you're still making sure that the next year's populations of butterflies will be intact and they'll get to complete their life cycles.
Here I see, like my garden, a lot of spent things here ready to go in and be. What are you going to be doing to clean here?
So here I took out some of the Mexican sunflowers and I just scraped down. They were crispy and dry, and then I just scraped the leaves down to feed the organisms. Yeah. And then I had some stems in there, and then I just sprinkled some leaves. So it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You just can take the leaves, and here's some spots kind of empty right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have any bare soil really.
Yeah.
Bare soil isn't healthy.
Right.
And so and then in the end, what we will get is soil that's like this.
Wow, look at that.
Basically, it's loose, it's friable, it's nutrient rich. I have this little guy. A lot of times when I do weed, I also compost in place. It's called compost. I just kind of keep it there tucked under. The roots are up to the air, so it's not going to get to reroot. And that's just like this really wonderful stuff. And you can see there's a little somebody in there. Somebody's doing the good job of making the soil.
Yeah.
And in a teaspoon of soil, there's 1 million helpful bacteria, fungi that help to protect the plant roots. So.
And the soil is so cool because one of the things that you had mentioned is that when you moved here, like a lot of us, you had a lot of clay.
So it's really hard clay, really hard clay. So I really believe in soil and just kept trying to feed it. And I did when I put in new plants, I had to buy compost. But with the leaves now, I'm getting this nice accumulation of the leaf matter, the humus, and the humus.
Yeah.
And the earthworm population is it's really amazing. So, and the more I'm learning about it, so I just try to keep feeding my soil. The flat-topped aster, which I plant specifically for Harris's checker spots out of nostalgia, because when I was in New Hampshire, the Harris's checker spots are a fairly rare butterfly, and they can't exist from the flat-topped aster. And because we stopped mowing our lawn, a wet meadow came back, and it really taught me about the value of natives and the intricate relationship between some of these butterflies and their host plants. They still can occur here. Unless a lot of people started planting flat-topped aster, we probably wouldn't get a population. But I love the plant. It's tall, beautiful white flowers. And I always let a little bit of thistle grow too. So I have a thistle here, which is, I let one. I will admit I pull up a lot of thistle, but I'm happy to do it because it's a host plant for the painted ladies. They will eat this. It's a pretty little butterfly. They migrate in. They look a lot like the American ladies, which eat the little pussy toes down here. I have some little prairie pussy toes hidden over here. They're very low growing. So this is a native sunflower, and it's a host plant for many different kinds of moths. And for some butterflies, generally in the checker spot family, so silvery checker spot and a Gorgon checker spot, which we might possibly get. Silvery checker spots are supposed to occur here. This is aromatic aster, which could be a host for the pearl crescent spot. A lot of asters, I have a lot of asters. They provide great fall color. And this is Asclepias tuberosa, or butterfly weed, which is for the monarchs.
So
and
really,
fed.
when you tell people you can leave your yard a little messier,
Yeah.
what exactly is that now?
So well, you know, I think some people have a hard time with the messy idea, and I understand that. It does look like this area looks pretty good because I had to come through and cut down. So if you have the temperament for it, or you're transitioning, you know, just believe that what you're doing is the right thing as far as animals. There's a different kind of aesthetic. So with these coneflowers here, I have left them up, and I've really benefited from seeing the little goldfinches come out, dark-eyed juncos, cardinals come through, all kinds of other thrushes were through my yard that were migrating
So
through.
the birds are feeding on the seed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then it gives them cover too, someplace to hide really quickly if a cat comes through the yard. They've got some branches to get on and to go hide in.
Right.
So, and insects to find in the leaf litter.
So again, and let's say that we want to, like, I really attracted a lot of pollinators to my yard last year, but I did not have that many butterflies, and I had the right plants, I thought.
Yep.
I want more. So what are 3 things that I can do so that I can have more butterflies in my yard next year?
So
or try to.
Would be to have host plants, the particular host plants. Definitely try to keep the garden standing, or at least do what I've done with either, if you want to cut down a plant, but still tuck the stems, the leaves under a bush or something so that they can continue their life cycle. Nectar plants, season long, fall, spring and the fall are really important.
Right.
And no pesticides. So
Sure.
really that's a critical thing.
Well, tell me just a few other caterpillars that we possibly would find in our Oak Park backyards. It would end up being these beautiful flittery things.
So one that comes through kind of early on is the red admiral, and they will eat pellitory or false nettles. Pellitory just kind of grows. It's probably considered a weed. I thought it was. I was pulling it out until I saw a red admiral butterfly laying eggs on it.
Yeah.
So that it's a kind of inconspicuous plant. It'll probably be growing at the base of something. So that would be one that would come in. Obviously the monarchs, if you have milkweed, they will come in. The buckeyes, silver spotted skipper, which I talked about.
Right.
There's all different kinds. The little pearl crescent spots are tiny little butterflies, really pretty. Little blues. We have summer azures, spring azures, and a willow tree will feed morning cloaks.
Wow.
There's all kinds. We really do, and we have a lot of elm saplings, which feeds question marks, commas, and snouts. They're really cute little. They have these long noses. And then we have hackberry emperors, which eat hackberry, and we have lots of hackberry in the area. We get tiger swallowtails, which eat magnolias and tulip trees. And I know we have Luna moss in the area, and they eat different kinds of trees. So a lot of the trees too are also important, which is another reason to keep the leaves, if you can, in your yard. Now, a lot of oak trees are also in Oak Park, and they're one of the most important food plants for different kinds of butterflies and moths. But I know their leaves take a long time to break down. They have a high carbon ratio, more than the other leaves.
Right.
So those would be ones where if somebody needed to mulch, would probably be one to mulch if they wanted to keep it in their garden. So,
Sure.
But you might be shredding up next year's beneficial insects. But you could always do a little half and half, keep some leaves
Was that
intact.
really the compromise? If
Yeah.
you're going to shred your leaves, like a lot of gardeners like to,
it breaks it
mulch
down
and
faster.
so you should leave some intact, and you should shred some if you really.
Just to play it safe.
Keep
Find a
in the-
happy
in the middle
medium, I would
ground.
say. Whatever you can, it's better to do a little bit than nothing. I would say this is an all or nothing thing. I would say the stakes are too high to say I can't do all of it, so I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to try
Right.
to find a middle ground.
Right.
So,
and truly, like I have met people that say that they're growing butterflies in their backyard
Yep.
and they've created this habitat. Is that a difficult thing to do?
No, it's actually, it's very easy to do, especially if you're not going to kill yourself with fall cleanup.
That sounds good to me.
There's all kinds of lists, out there for nectar plants to have and for host plants. Natives, you just get more bang for your buck. They're generally, if you've got them correctly sited, they're going to be easy to take care of. You don't have to worry about them. You don't have to fuss with fungicides, pesticides,
all that stuff.
chemical fertilizers.
Yeah.
No, as long as you're doing organic matter, and they're going to provide nectar, they're going to provide food for herbivorous insects and seeds for birds and cover as well. So they're a win-win situation. There's really no downside to native plants, and they don't become invasive.
Well, I have my burning question is that before I came here, I'm putting my garden to bed, and I'm pruning up my butterfly bush.
Yes.
Our butterfly bush is attractants for monarchs. I've seen them come directly to mine.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
And it seems to be a simple way to do it. Huh?
Yes,
or
to bring a nice nectar plant is very, very attractive to a lot of butterflies. So I would say, I'm pruning it. You just want to check that you didn't have a host plant nearby, and the little chrysalis, the caterpillar's gone to make. So you just want to, as you're cutting it down, just check that there's nobody on it. Just check the leaves underside.
Okay.
Be fairly methodical, branch by branch. And if you want to play it extra safe, then just clip the stems, leave them in your garden. And if you don't like that look, then sprinkle some leaves over, so you have a kind of uniform texture. And then you're good. Then you're ready for spring. So
that sounds great. And finally, the one final thing I want you to show me is how I can see if I have any butterfly eggs or whatever. Show me in your garden how you look for a butterfly.
Sure.
Eggs or chrysalis.
Okay, so I actually ran across a little tiny caterpillar by accident yesterday. I lifted up a plant and I was putting something in there, and I happened to see this little green speck. So they're in there. So
could you just show me?
Sure.
Here?
So let's say here's a violet.
Okay.
And so what will happen with this, if I had a great spangled fritillary, so sometimes they don't even lay their eggs right on the plant. They'll lay it around. So if you would you can see it's pretty chewed up.
Right. Oh yeah.
So it could be somebody under here. So you just have to really kind of check under.
And
they would be really tucked in, and so the leaf, in nature, they would go down under the leaf litter. So you keep in the leaf litter, then you're giving them cover, winter cover. You can see all this loose worm. Oh, there's a little milkweed seed. So yeah, and then so let's say this coneflower is pretty much done, and I know the goldfinches have pretty much finished the seeds off.
Right.
So if you wanted to cut this all down,
so
you just go stem by stem, just give it a good clip at the end, and then when they're crispy and dry, it makes it really easy. And then you can no disease. So I would just kind of do this here, check, and I don't see anybody.
Okay.
And it's pretty easy to see in the stem. I don't have anything. So if I wanted to, that could go into the compost bin, or if you have a tumbler.
Yeah.
So
are we looking for caterpillars or eggs?
You're looking, you could be looking for both. I don't know too many butterflies that will lay eggs. I know some of the fritillaries will lay eggs, but they would be down on the ground somewhere in the leaf litter. So, not disturbing too much it's better to disturb as little as possible than to disturb too much. And this stuff does break down, and then you can just tuck this under the leaves so nobody's going to see it, and it will break down. It will. It's just a way of nature.
Well, thanks. I learned so much today.
Thank you, Deb. I love talking about butterflies and gardening and native plants and soil.
Yeah, me too. I'm Deb.
And I'm Stephanie.
And this is Deb's Big Backyard on the Road. We'll see you next time.